So I want to be able to take a look at the formula sheet that you have, and I want to be able to graph a line with any one of those formulas that you have, all four of them. And I want to start with the one that we're most familiar with, and that is this guy here. The excuse me. That's the slope-intercept form. Um, Now, I know we're all really quite familiar with y equals mx plus b at this point, where m is our slope, and b is our y-intercept. Now, when it comes to graphing, and you might have already heard me say that, and that's okay, you want to start with a point, and then you can just count your slope. So here we're going to start with our y-intercept because that's a point, and it crosses at 4. So we're going to go ahead and put our point right here along the y-axis at 4, and now we can count the slope. So the jingle I like to use is rise with the sign. So rise with sign, and then we, in general, will run to the right. So here my slope m is -3 halves. So I'm going to rise with the sign. So -3 means I'm going to go down 3 units. So 1, 2, 3, and then run to the right 2 units. So here I am at this point 2, 1. And now I can draw my line going through those 2 points. Notice how I'm not real, my line here isn't straight or accurate. However, it's the idea. Did you get those 2 points correct, and were you able to go through them? Now, a lot of teachers want you to use your ID card and make it real straight and neat. If you want to, that's great. Me personally, I can't expect that since I'm not somebody who has the ability to draw a straight line. So if you have that ability, do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to be too concerned with that. So here, let's take this one here. Now look, this is already in what form? This is our point slope form. And really all you need is a point and a slope in order to do this. So we want to be really careful because our point slope form is y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. See, here's a minus x1, and the point we know it to be x1 comma y1, but notice how it's minus and minus. So in that case, when I'm looking at something like this, my point, it looks like 1, -6. But I need to make sure that I pay attention to this minus sign. So my x value is really -1. So my point here that I'm going to use is -1. And my point here is a +6. And that comes from this idea here. If I were to plug -1 in for x and a +6 in for y, I would end up with this original equation. So that's one way of checking our work. When you come up with a point, plug it back into this form and see, is it what I'm being asked to graph? And here we can tell our slope quite quickly is 5/7. So what I want to do is I want to plot that point and count my slope. So here I'm going to go to -1 and +6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my point. And then I want to count my slope. Rise with the sign, so I'm going to go up 5 units, and I'm off the graph. Darn it. So if I can't go up 5 and to the right 7, I know my line's going to look like this. So I go up 5 to the right 7, I'd be off the graph. And I don't want to count 2 points off the graph. It's kind of silly to plot somewhere where you can't quite see exactly where it's at. So let's go, instead of up and to the right, let's go down and to the left. So I'm going to go down 5 units and over to the left 7 units here. And now I can draw my graph. And again, I want to make sure I have these arrows on the end, noting that it goes on forever in both directions. So this is the way I want to graph given an equation of a line in slope, or excuse me, in point slope form. Now we have a graph here in standard form, or excuse me, an equation. We're asked to graph an equation of a line in standard form. Now there's several things we could do with this. One thing that we already know to do is find the x and y intercepts and plot those, which we can do. The other thing we could do is switch this into slope-intercept form and have y equals mx plus b. So I suggest you try it both ways to see which is going to be easiest for you. But for me, I think it would be easiest if I find the x and y intercepts. So I want to find the x-intercept, plug a 0 in for y, so I'm just left with 4x equals 12, and I can see that x equals 3. So I just go over here to 3 and I plot my point. And then if I plug a 0 in for x, I get negative 3y equals 12. And this I can quickly see divided by negative 3. Now I kind of want to make sure I do that step just so I can see that it's negative 4 over here at negative 4. I have my 2 points, I can draw my line. And get my arrows in there. Okay, so here I just have I have this condition where I have 2 points. Is very good just to plot 2 points and make a line. So here I have to plot negative 8 and negative 4, so I go to negative 8 and negative 4. I'll plot that point. And 3, 7, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3. We got that point there. And draw my line here. Wow, that was really bad, wasn't it? Okay. Alright, that was real bad. Oh, and we got some more over there. I'm going to get rid of that too. There's that point. And that point. Okay, maybe if I go this way, would it be more accurate? Let's try. Yeah, it's about as good as I'm going to be able to do. So I didn't have to do any work at all. I didn't show any work or anything for this one because I just have 2 points. And as Euclid says, one of my favorite Greek mathematicians, Euclid says you need 2 points to draw a straight line, and I have my 2 points and I can graph it. You should have your work. There will be a worksheet on Monday for you to graph several different equations, and I really want to get. I want practice with this. I want to make sure we're really good graphing lines.